All right, everybody, welcome back to Sip and Talk. It's time for another deep dive.
I'm excited to get into this one.
Yeah, this should be fun. You guys requested that we look into Trump asking Taiwan for protection money.
Yeah.
So we dug in. We found some fascinating research tying into Taiwan's role in all this tech stuff.
Yeah.
Especially with AI.
Yeah.
So we've got Bloomberg articles. We've got in-depth tech analysis.
Yeah.
We even got some wild quotes straight from the former president himself.
It's going to be a wild one.
I know, right?
So are you ready?
Buckle up. It's going to be a wild ride.
What really stood out to me is how this whole story goes beyond just politics. Well, I mean, we're talking about Taiwan having like a really crucial role in the world of tech.
Yeah.
Especially AI.
Oh, my gosh.
Without Taiwan, things would look very different.
Right. You know that Bloomberg video you sent me?
Oh, yeah.
It blew my mind.
I know, right?
Like Taiwan makes 90%.
It's insane.
I know. Of the world's most advanced computer chips. And those are the chips that power like all this AI stuff we're hearing about.
It's not just like their chip factory, though.
Right.
It's more than that.
Yeah.
It's like they've built this whole ecosystem for AI hardware.
Okay.
So, you know, like 90% of the servers running AI programs, those are also built by Taiwanese companies.
Wow.
It's insane. It's a level of expertise that's almost impossible to like copy.
Okay, so imagine AI is like that fancy new coffee machine you just got.
Okay.
Taiwan isn't just making the heating element.
Yeah.
They're basically building the whole thing. The grinder, the milk frother, the whole shebang.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty accurate analogy.
Yeah.
It really highlights why this whole protection money talk from Trump is so interesting.
Right.
You know, it makes you think about like the value that Taiwan holds on a global scale.
Totally.
Yeah.
So speaking of Trump, we've got articles here from his previous presidency and even from this current campaign trail.
Yeah.
And he's making these comments about Taiwan needing to pay more for their own defense.
And I'm like, dude, are you serious?
You know, it's important to remember that Trump's style is, shall we say, direct.
Yeah.
He often uses really strong language to emphasize the points he's trying to make. So in this case, he's basically saying that, like, allies need to, like, shoulder more responsibility for their own security.
Okay, but protection money, that's straight out of like a mobster movie. Like, is Taiwan supposed to leave a little cash under the table for the big guy?
Well, the actual term he uses is about increasing defense spending.
Okay.
He argues that countries like Taiwan, they need to invest more in their own military capabilities if they want to stay safe.
Okay, so it's more like, hey, if you want to be a part of this awesome club, you got to chip in for snacks.
Right.
But those snacks are like fighter jets and tanks.
Pretty much. It's about making sure that everyone's contributing to the overall security of the group.
All right, fair enough. Let's get back to the tech stuff for a sec.
Okay.
Bloomberg keeps mentioning TSMC.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like the rock stars of the chip world.
Are we talking like Rolling Stones level fame here?
I think more like Beyonce.
Okay.
Taiwan's semiconductor manufacturing company, TSMC, who can remember that whole thing.
Right.
But they dominate the market for advanced chips. And they work closely with NVIDIA, which is another huge name in AI, especially for chip design. They go way back.
Okay, so TSMC is like the Beyonce of chips, dropping all the hits that everyone wants.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets really interesting.
What's that?
They have this thing called a kill switch built into their factories.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Like, if China were to invade, they could literally shut down the whole operation.
It sounds like something straight out of a spy movie.
It does.
But it shows just how high the stakes are in this whole thing.
Hold on. So they could just like flip a switch and poof, no more chips for anybody.
Pretty much.
Would our phones just like stop working?
Well, not instantly.
Okay.
But the impact would be huge.
Okay.
And it's not just phones.
Like self-driving cars.
Yeah.
All the research happening in AI, even simple things like online shopping. It all relies on these advanced chips that Taiwan is making.
So if something goes down in Taiwan, the whole world feels it.
Yeah.
Like they're holding the power button for the future of technology. That's a lot of pressure.
Bloomberg's economic analysis estimates that a conflict could lead to trillions of dollars.
Trillions.
Trillions, with a T in losses globally.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's crazy. We're talking major ripple effects.
Okay, so we've established that Taiwan is like this tech superhero, especially when it comes to AI.
Yeah.
But some of these articles paint a broader picture of their economic success, right? They talk about their workforce, their entrepreneurial spirit.
Exactly. It's not just about the chips themselves.
Right.
Taiwan has like cultivated this amazing environment for innovation. Their workforce is highly skilled. People are really eager to start businesses, and the government has been supporting the tech sector for a long time. Oh. And you know what's really cool? Their high-speed rail system is actually like a secret weapon for their tech sector. It connects different companies and research centers super efficiently, which helps them collaborate and innovate even faster. Who knew trains could be so high-tech?
It's not something you think about right away, but having transportation that's efficient, it plays a huge role in keeping the tech sector like going.
But let's be real here. There are also some concerns about Taiwan relying so heavily on tech.
Sure.
Some of these articles point out that if China decided to like mess with their economy, things could get a little dicey.
Yeah.
It's like walking a tightrope.
There are definitely challenges, for sure. But it's important to recognize that Taiwan is actively trying to diversify its economy.
Okay.
You know, they're building new facilities in other countries, places like Mexico, Japan, even Germany.
Okay, so they're spreading the tech love around.
Yeah.
But is it really possible to just pick up and move this kind of like specialized ecosystem? It's not like opening a new burger joint, right? They've got something unique going on.
It's definitely not a simple task.
Right.
You know, trying to copy all of the things that have made Taiwan so successful in tech is a huge undertaking.
So what I'm hearing is Taiwan's this incredibly important player on the global tech scene.
Yes.
But they're also facing some serious challenges.
It's like a real-life drama unfolding, and the whole world is watching to see what happens next.
You got that right.
Taiwan's future is intertwined with the future of AI, and all the choices made by everyone involved will have a huge impact on all of us.
Well, after this deep dive, I'm definitely going to be paying closer attention to Taiwan and its role in the tech world.
Yeah, me too.
It's a story that's only going to get more important as the years go by.
Absolutely. Taiwan is a microcosm of the challenges and opportunities facing the global community in the 21st century.
Yeah.
It's definitely a story worth following closely. It really makes you wonder, like, where this is all headed.
I know, right? It's like a total cliffhanger. On one hand, Taiwan's got this, like, killer advantage in tech. They're the reigning champs of AI, no doubt. But then you've got the whole China situation looming in the background.
Right.
Talk about a high-pressure situation.
Absolutely. The geopolitical dimension is impossible to ignore.
Yeah.
China's ambitions towards Taiwan are well documented.
Right.
It adds another layer of complexity to this already intricate story.
And speaking of complex, we still haven't really dug into Trump's whole protection money idea.
Yeah.
Is that like a legit concern, or is he just trying to like stir the pot?
Well, it's certainly a bold statement, even for Trump, but I think it's important to remember that he often uses strong language to make a point. In this case, he's trying to shine a light on the imbalance in defense spending between the U.S. and its allies.
So he's basically saying, hey, you guys need to step up your game if you want to play in the big leagues.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. He's arguing that countries like Taiwan need to invest more in their own defense if they want to guarantee their security.
Which, let's be honest, makes sense on some level.
Yeah.
The U.S. can't be the world's bodyguard forever, right?
Exactly. This idea of burden sharing has been a recurring theme in U.S. foreign policy for decades.
Okay, but here's where I get a little skeptical. Some of these articles mention that Trump wants Taiwan to increase its defense budget to 10% of its GDP. That's a huge GE jump from what they're spending now. Is that even remotely realistic?
It's definitely an ambitious target.
Yeah.
But remember, the U.S. spends roughly 3.5% of its GDP on defense.
Okay.
So in a way, Trump's suggesting Taiwan adopt a more American approach to defense spending.
But Taiwan's situation is so unique, right? They're literally staring down a much larger neighbor with some, let's say, complicated intentions.
Right.
It's not exactly an apples-to-apples comparison.
You're absolutely right. Taiwan's geopolitical context is totally different from the U.S. Any decision about increasing defense spending has to be carefully weighed against its potential impact on the island's economy and social stability.
And let's not forget the human cost of conflict. War is never a good answer.
No.
Especially for a place like Taiwan, which has built such a successful and innovative society.
I completely agree. The potential consequences of a conflict between Taiwan and China are devastating
Yeah.
for everyone involved.
Yeah.
It's a scenario we should all be working to avoid.
So back to the whole protection money idea. If Taiwan actually did pay up, would that really guarantee their safety?
Unfortunately, there are no guarantees in geopolitics.
Right.
Even if Taiwan significantly increased its defense spending, it would still be outmatched militarily by China.
So it's more about like deterrence than actual defense, like making the cost of an invasion so high that China wouldn't even consider it.
Exactly. The idea is to make an invasion so unattractive that it's no longer a viable option for China.
Which brings us back to those kill switches at TSMC. Talk about a strong deterrent.
It's definitely a major factor. China knows that disrupting the global semiconductor supply chain would have huge consequences for them as well.
It's kind of ironic, isn't it? Taiwan's biggest strength, their tech dominance, is also like a major vulnerability.
That's a really insightful observation.
Yeah.
It highlights the complex relationship between technology, economics, and geopolitics in the 21st century.
Well, after this deep dive, I'm definitely seeing Taiwan in a whole new light.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating place full of innovation and resilience.
I couldn't agree more. Taiwan is a testament to human ingenuity and the power of determination.
But it's also facing some truly daunting challenges.
Yeah.
It's like they're walking a tightrope between global tech dominance and constant geopolitical uncertainty.
Indeed. The stakes are incredibly high.
Yeah.
And the whole world is watching to see how this story unfolds.
Well, I, for one, am hooked.
Yeah.
This is a story that's going to keep us all on the edge of our seats for years to come.
You've summed it up perfectly. Taiwan's destiny is intertwined with the future of AI, and the decisions made in the coming years will have a profound impact on us all.
So with everything we've learned about Taiwan's role in tech, the geopolitical pressures and the whole protection money debate, what does it all mean for our listeners?
Right.
Why should they care about this tiny island halfway around the world?
Because it affects everyone. Taiwan's dominance in chip production impacts everything, from the smartphones we use to the development of cutting-edge AI.
Yeah.
If that supply chain is disrupted, it would have huge consequences for the global economy and our daily lives.
It really makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Imagine a world without constant tech innovation.
Right.
No new gadgets. No advancements in AI.
It would be a very different place.
It would.
Taiwan's story reminds us that technological progress is not a given.
Yeah.
It requires a delicate balance of innovation, investment, and stability.
Yeah. It's a story that's only going to get more important in the years to come.
I couldn't agree more.
It's crazy how this tiny island is at the center of so much, right?
I know, it's wild.
It's like tech thriller meets political drama, but with real-world consequences.
Totally. Whether we realize it or not.
Right.
Taiwan's journey is a microcosm of the challenges and opportunities facing the entire world in this century.
Yeah.
It's a story that deserves our attention.
Absolutely. And that wraps up our deep dive into Taiwan AI and the wild world of geopolitics. Thanks for sticking with us through all the twists and turns. And hey, if all this heavy stuff has your brain feeling fried, I've got the perfect antidote. Check out the YouTube channel Mickytolife for some seriously fun travel and drink reviews. It's the perfect way to unwind after a deep dive like this. Until next time, stay curious.